And welcome to the Daily Space Weather Show. We're going to slightly abridge this thing. It is Saturday night after all, so we are starting things out by looking at some fresh imagery here. That's the past 24 hours from SDO. There was one decent flare to cover, slight uptick in the sunspot number, and a slight downtick in the radio flux. Also some CMEs to cover. We'll get to it. A bunch of interesting earthquake activity in the Mid-Atlantic Ridge area. The Reykjanes Ridge. Nowhere near Iceland, though. We'll get to that as well. Some severe weather across the U.S. Again, multiple CMEs to cover, including one you'll see pop off right down here. And by the way, this one is now named the Vladimir Putin. Yeah, it's the Vladimir Putin filament, folks. Oh my God. Are you spooked? Are you spooked of space? Let us know in the comments if you're spooked of space. And here is yesterday plus today. That's December 8th and December 9th to date. That is the colorized magnetogram. By the way, if you enjoy the content and you want to support the channel, consider becoming a member of the Smash Team. Smashomash.com/Smash Team. Make sure you visit us on social media and so on to support the channel. And again, this is an abridged version tonight, so let's cut this real short. Smashomash.com/Smash Team is where to get extra content as well as email alerts. Right there's the link. It's linked below the video. Other paid endorsements include Get Normal Eyebrows. I'm tired of being quiet about it, and so I'm going to speak up and say, if you're painting on your eyebrows, get normal eyebrows. Pretty sick of looking at people's eyebrows. This fad is completely out of gas. This fad is more out of gas than a Tesla orbiting Mars. Get normal eyebrows, people. Seriously. I can't take it anymore. I'm very sick of seeing eyebrows. You are not a fashionista because you have hot eyebrows. Nobody cares about eyebrows. By the way, you can find a link below the video to the Hemp Lucid shop if you're picking up perhaps some lovely holiday gift ideas for your friends and foes there from Hemp Lucid. Yeah. Enter the promo code SMASHOMASH10 and save 10% on checkout. Promo code SMASHOMASH10 saves you 10% at hemplucid.com. You can also find our Amazon shop. Have you considered naproxen as a painkiller? It works great as an anti-inflammatory agent. In fact, while healing multiple broken bones over the years, I've used naproxen very effectively. It actually works as an analgesic, I should say. Analgesic. Yes. Pardon me, I'm just stepping on Fauci's face over here. Yes. So, yeah, try naproxen. It works very nicely. You can pick up some from our Amazon shop. It's only $6.25 a bottle. Okay. And by the way, Iceland is not erupting. Iceland, folks. Not erupting. So here's what is erupting. Semaru is producing a 15,000-foot ash plume. Popocatépetl is producing a 20,000-foot ash plume. They're both exploding. So Santiaguito in Guatemala, 15,000-foot ash plume there. 15,000-foot ash plume from Fuego as well as it explodes. It's a flight level 150. Flight level 200 over Nevado de Ruiz in Colombia as it explodes. 20,000-foot ash plume. Not sure about Sabancaya, but let's move on to earthquakes as there's been some interesting activity indeed. Indeed. This is the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. There are the past 90 days of earthquake activity, and that's... Anyway, this is interesting. In the Reykjanes Ridge, very far away from Iceland. That is the historic earthquake activity there. There was at least 2 5.3s in that area. I think those were some of the largest quakes of the past 24 hours. Here is the other interactive map there. That is where that quake occurred. Again, very far from Iceland. This whole ridge is called the Reykjanes Ridge, as the Reykjanes Peninsula is the highest portion of it. Anyway, these are the quakes of the past 24 hours of a 5 or greater magnitude. And perhaps those are foreshocks in there, by the way, folks. Is there a major earthquake about to happen in the North Atlantic? Let us know in the comments what you think. 5.1 in Chile, that was early this morning at 4:49. Kermadec Islands had a 5.0 at 5:54, just north of New Zealand. And then lots of shaking in Reykjanes Ridge, a 5.0, a 5.3, a 5.3, 5.3, and then a 5.7 way down in the Virgin Islands. Then more activity in the Reykjanes Ridge, like a 5.0 and a 5.1. Then Indonesia gets a 5.0. And that is your quake update. So, getting into some more space data, the 10.7 centimeter radial flux now at 132 solar flux units. And let's do a cosmic ray report. So cosmic rays are up over most monitors over the past 30 days. We haven't done one this week, so here it is. Apatity showing a slight uptick in cosmic ray flux over the past 30 days. Also Barentsburg, a sharper uptick in cosmic ray flux for the past 30 days. Let's go south to Athens, Greece, an uptick there. Little marginal uptick there in cosmic ray flux at the Athens neutron monitor. How about Mexico City? A marginal uptick in Mexico City. So cosmic rays on the upswing here, perhaps? Or is it just a temporary aside before cosmic ray flux dips even lower? Last but not least, the Oulu and Antarctican monitors. So there's Oulu. Yes, Oulu also up over the past 30 days. DOMC Antarctica up over the past 30 days, and DOMB Antarctica also up over the past 1 month. So uptick in cosmic ray flux, folks. Also, the radio flux here is sort of just leveling out here, currently at 132 for the 10.7, 132 for the radio flux. That is the past year. Next, Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard, and that needs a refresh. There we go. I'm sorry, radio flux is down to 128. So let's bring that back. It's actually down here below 130 to 128. Sunspot number came up, radio flux came down. What can you say? Sometimes these things happen. No space weather storms there forecasted by NOAA. See our previous daily space weather videos for perhaps some differences in the forecasting. Next, the last 4 hours of Earth's magnetic moment from space. And there's not a lot to see. It is a geomagnetically calm situation. It is quiet at the space weather station. We apologize if this temporary aside does not cause an end to civilization as you prefer. That's the past 4 hours from space. Here are the past 4 hours from the ground. Again, it's calm. By the way, there is typically less space weather around the solstices, and we are in the darkest few weeks of the year right now in the Northern Hemisphere. KP index currently at 0.66. 0.6 rounded to 0.67 is the KP index. Very calm conditions. The ACE showing a slow and diffuse solar wind there. About 2.5 protons per cubic centimeter for the density. Speed 361 kilometers per second. The Discover showing a little faster, a little over 400 kilometers per second. Similar solar wind density here. 2.13 protons per cubic centimeter. Magnetometers are next, and they are smooth. No space weather's been coming in, and here's our line of sight. Our top view ecliptic plane field plot first. And Earth is just right in the middle of a North Pole sector. So there's the last image. Stereo B, Earth, and Stereo A, all in a North Pole magnetic sector of the heliosphere. Here's our line of sight ecliptic plane field plot. And that is quiet as well. Here's our line of sight field plot, as Earth is right in the middle of a North Pole sector. Solar B field depicted in blue is sort of one of the main features here. And that brings us to coronal holes. So that's the coronal hole situation. Ta-da! Here are coronal holes from SDO. We're going to do a nice zoom in here. So check it out. Here's an extreme close-up. And that looks like a metal letter made by the band Danzig for their latest album. Here's what I mean. Does that look like a metal letter or what? Look at this. That's going to be Danzig's new album theme. The blackest hole in the coronal sun. No one's coming to save you, hon. Hunker down in your bunker now. Could you imagine this? That would be so awesome. Danzig made a new album all about how, oh my God, dear God. That would just be awesome. About how coronal holes are. Coronal holes, now spooky. Anyway, before we get to that, let's take a look at the data. Sunspots. They are now back up to about 141, 142, something like that. 142, I'm going to say. Sunspot number 142. Here's our flare probability monitor and scoreboard. And as you've maybe come to expect, largest flare came from the southwestern limb, which I said about 14 times yesterday would be the spot to see a large flare, most likely. And indeed, once again, expecting the possibility of large flares mainly down here. So that is certainly remaining the most likely place to see a large flare, and it has been. So let's move on to SDO magnetometer. Most of these sunspots have been stable over the past 24 hours. They didn't shrink. They didn't grow a lot. I think overall we have slight growth since yesterday, so we may see another small uptick in the sunspot number, assuming nothing drastically changes in the next 24 hours, which has been known to happen. But we'll still have all of those sunspots on the western limb visible for the next 24 hours, so those will remain on the sunspot number count. As far as SEPs, we ain't got none. Gauss proton flux has been flat for an extended period here, well over a week. Largest flare of the past 24 hours was late last night Universal Time at about, oh doggone it, at about 2300. It was of quite a short duration. There was only one M-class flare since then. That was an M5 plus. That should have caused space weather alerts to go out. I don't remember seeing any, but whatever, here's the location of the largest flares for the past 24. It's the T-mass, the most active sunspot. And it's not just the most active, it's by far the most active. That was 94. This is 131 angstroms. Two M-class events there on that reel. As well as a number of several C-class intensifications there. Here's another even closer view for you in that same wavelength. And we'll come back to 94 angstroms at that same viewpoint. A very nice indeed. And let's move to a star chart next. This is what's going on overhead where we're located, which is eastern Pennsylvania. By the way, if you want to ask a particle physicist a question, we've got a segment for that. Yeah, a segment. And it just aired yesterday. If you missed it, the last 3 Friday segments have an Ask a Particle Physicist segment featuring the monotone from Minsk, Eugene Bagashov. Right there's the video. We even put him on the thumbnail yesterday. It looks like he was hosting. He was not hosting. He was just doing the Ask a Particle Physicist segment. Yesterday's question was, well, you'll have to go watch the video to find that out, but make sure you respond by subscribing to Eugene's channel. That's the most important place. Make sure you go subscribe to Eugene's channel. So, all kinds of interesting topics covered there, and some uninteresting topics. Although, interesting is in the eye of the beholder. Eugene the Philosopher. Go subscribe if you ain't done so. And last but not least, before we get to the astronomy photo of the day, the solar system forecast. Here are things today. We've got a crescent moon. Here's where things will be in a week. We will still have a crescent moon. We'll have a crescent waxing by the 16th. And where has the year gone, folks? It's been a fast year. And check it out. It's the Tourmalet, one of the best climbs in cycling. The Tourmalet, the French Pyrenean ski slope. One of the ultimate climbs in the sport of cycling, featuring the Pleiades there overhead, as well as a meteorite. That's the astronomy photo of the day. Not half bad. A view of the Tourmalet in the French Pyrenees. Next, coronal mass ejections. And it's time for me to vanish. Here are CMEs from yesterday. That's 89 frames. Here are 93 frames from today. And multiple CMEs there, especially that one out of the northern hemisphere. Also one out of the southeast. So those are the main CMEs from the past 24. One out of the north and one out of the southeast. Are they earthly directed? The one out of the north certainly is not. The one out of the southeast, I believe, also is not. We'll get to it in a little closer detail here. Here is Soho Lasco C2 plus C3. And we've got C2 slightly ahead of C3 here. So there's that northerly CME. That was from slightly behind the North Pole. So nowhere near the Earth. The second one out of the southeast. I believe that was from behind the southeastern limb also. But we'll get some assurance on that here in a minute. First, we'll take a look at stereo A. There's stereo A's location right there where that red dot is. And here we're going to let the difference imagery catch up. So we've got the raw coronagraph slightly ahead of the difference imagery there. Raw coronagraph on the left, difference imagery on the right. So here we'll see a nice CME out of the north. Here it comes, out of the left. There it is. From behind the North Polar region. And a second event here out of the southeast. So that's tough to say, but this should help. So again, the first one not earthly directed. Second one must have been right around noontime. The second one may have some earthly directed components, but I doubt it. I believe that is a miss to the southeast. So certainly no halo from that one. I'm going to say that's a miss to the southeast. And let's actually leave that up, because it's time to get to filaments. Filaments. Wherefore art thou, filaments? Because magnetic fields are suspending them above the immense gravitational field of the closest star. Once again, we've just named this one. This one is now called the Vladimir Putin filament. And let us know in the comments if you think that one will be responsible for ending civilization. I doubt it. Doubt it, folks. Anyway, here comes the ever-popular grayscale imagery. And it looks like we may have some new active regions here about to rise over the eastern limb, as we see some large filaments here that are hanging out. As many as 2 or 3 possible new active regions there about to rise in the coming few days. So that's the scenario, and let's get the bonus features. But first, the past couple of hours from the Ghost 16 SUVI. So there you have it. And let's get to bonus features, which we'll blast through at warp speed. Satellite charging hazards, there ain't none. It's smooth sailing for satellites. And I'm back. Electron flux here in relatively high levels. There are the past 3 days. There's the past year. And there's the forecast model expecting a downtick. Remember, folks, we forecasted a few CME impacts, so see our previous videos for those if you haven't seen them. Next, the ionosphere. Is that the thing? That's what it's called. That thing. That place where the stuff is between Earth and space. The ionosphere. The F layer. The F layer, folks. Here it is. And frankly, we are seeing some anomalies here. Some anomalies north of the equator around South America. So it's a little weird, really. I mean, it's not the normal configuration, and you'll see a bunch of anomalies here on the anomalygram. So there's that. Here's the anomalygram, and right up here, there are a bunch of oddities there. Like a second South American anomaly. So that's kind of weird. Anyway, here's the latest image 2300. And there it is. Anomaly in megahertz from the 30-day median. Next, wham! Last Christmas we didn't show this, but now we do, and we hope you like it too. This year, too. So no one has tears. We'll show the total electron content and maximum usable frequency. Okay, moving right along to the total electron content forecast. Why am I showing this? Because it's free electrons in about this type of a range. About 12,500 miles worth of free electrons. And by the way, if you want some free endorsements of your soul, follow us over on Twitter. Yeah, on Twitter, otherwise known as x.com/smashomash. x.com/smashomash. And it's, yeah, Broken Peach for the win. So good. And here's a total electron content forecast. Broken Peach. The band is like, if you imagine the Spice Girls met Metallica or something. Spice Girls? No, it's not like Metallica. It's heavier than that, I guess. Spice Girl. If the Spice Girls did metal, that's what it is. Spice Girls on metal that's Broken Peach. Fantastic. Latest magnetogram, latest intensitygram. That's what's going on. This area down here is, fingers crossed that it's beta gamma delta class. Is it beta gamma delta class? Barely. It's certainly beta gamma class. It's beta gamma delta class, folks. End of discussion. Feel free to leave a comment if you don't think so. Anyway, let's get to weather. We've got stormy seas in the North Atlantic. Some areas up there with 34-foot waves and large areas of moderately high waves, nearly 30-footers there over a large portion of the Northern Atlantic. Stormy seas up there. Where are the world's stormiest? Is it the North Pacific? I don't know. I'm just looking right now. I did no research on this. No, there are the world's stormiest seas by far. The Southern Ocean. A cruel wench. A cruel wench. The Southern Ocean. And by the way, it's a little bit cool in the Southern Ocean. Check out the sea surface temperature anomalies. Dag. I guess I might as well show the whole planet now. There's Pacific Ocean. There's Indian Ocean sea surface temperature anomaly. There's Atlantic. It also shows surface winds. You're welcome. Anyway, here comes regular meteorology stuff. Surface winds of the east. Jet streams. Jet streams of the central world. Surface winds. Surface winds of the west. Jet streams of the west. Clouds and fog for that same part of the planet. Strong low forming off the west coast of South America, as well as a strong low sweeping across the U.S. Sweeping across the U.S. right now, making its way across Missouri, it looks like to me. And here is the storm front that's been producing some thunder and lightning in the southeastern U.S. See that rotating low there making its way across Iowa and into Missouri as we create the video. So here's the rain forecast for the next 3 days. That's the GFS model. There is the Euro model. GFS, Euro. Here's the snow forecast for the next 3 days. There's the Euro model, and there's the GFS. Once again, Euro, GFS, and woo! We're getting some snow in eastern Pennsylvania. Woo! Good times. Next, our weather.gov map, and if your location is lit on the weather.gov map, please click it. There are too many counties on there for us to cover, and wow, lots of serious weather here, including tornado watches. So, Reed Timmer's out there. Shout out to Reed Timmer, who's out there chasing right now. And I think he said he was going to Tennessee. And certainly some tornado warnings, folks. Tornado warnings. That means that there have been some tornadoes sighted. DAG. Bulky weather here across the U.S. Flooding, tornadoes, and snow. So let's get to some forecasts here. Here's the forecast scenario from Tropical Tidbits. TropicalTidbits.com. First forecast is the pressure and precipitation GFS 72-hour model. Tadow. My name is Tadow. I own this muff. Muffs. Next, GFS total accumulated precipitation forecast for 72 hours. That is precipitation in inches. Pacific Northwest getting more rain. Oregon is a very, very moist state. And Jersey is going to be a very, very flooded state. Also, Maryland and Delaware are going to get hammered. Parts of Virginia as well. Also, North Carolina going to get kaplastered. Also, Maine going to get kaplastered. Lots of kaplastering going on. Here's our snow forecast in inches. GFS 72 hour. Yes, snow coming to Pennsylvania. Lastly, temperature anomaly forecast in degrees Celsius. Again, the 72-hour GFS forecast. Engage in something else. Lightning. There you have it. A long string of it. And let's see where it is now. Some lightning stretching all the way from Ohio to Houston. Yes, we've got some rolling in here around Savannah, Tennessee, folks. Savannah, Tennessee's got some active cells. And since it's getting late, it's going to be past my bedtime soon, folks. Oh, my God. Press the like button. Otherwise, there'll be heck to pay. Have you seen the latest Jaws video? I mean, what is up? You haven't seen the latest Jaws video? Dude, it's 79 views. Are you shiting me? Are you shiting me? You couldn't possibly be shiting me. I think you might be shiting me. Press the like button or else there will be heck to pay. Heck! I swear to God, there'll be heck to pay if you don't press like. You son of a bittern. U.S. Doppler radar. Oregon and Washington. Washington is very moist. Here is a clouds and fog depicted by the shortwave radiation map. And water vapor. It looks like clear skies over Galveston on this fine December evening. Here's your recap. Press like or else. U.S. Doppler radar, ground-based systems that depict vertical motion in the air column. Space-based system, which shows infrared radiation at 3.9 micrometers. Space-based system that shows infrared radiation in 6.61 micrometers. Alleged carbon-based life form. Exiting stage bunker hatch. It's time to go back to the bunker, folks. We're going to have to... We may... Tomorrow we're eating MREs all day. Only MREs, folks. And I'm going back to the bunker again. I hate climbing up a ladder. Sliding down is better, my friend. Huh?